Hi, my love. Sheree, my lady girl from around the way, where we have culture, conversation, and community. And in today's video, girl, real quick, y'all. I had to come to y'all, all right, on this Good Tuesday and tell y'all about this documentary on Netflix. The name of the Netflix documentary is Tell Them You Love Me, okay? And I recently watched this, y'all. I was so gagged. I was like, I have to talk about this. And I don't know, a couple lives ago, I was talking about watching shows that are thought provoking. And there are so many themes that come up when discussing this documentary, y'all. Y'all have to check it out. So it's streaming now on Netflix. It's by director Nick August Perna. He did a few things that I liked before too in the past. I can't think of it off the top, but if I were to say it, y'all would know exactly what I'm talking about. But anyway, the film is about a white, okay, professor, Anna Stubblefield, who was accused of sexually assaulting Derek Johnson, who I'll show here. This is Derek right here, y'all. Okay, this is Derek now. This is Mama. This is Big Mama. Oh, wait, before I get into it, y'all, make sure you like and subscribe. Share the video if you know somebody who watched this documentary. Y'all, this is sickening. This is sickening. Okay. So the lady was a Rutgers professor, Rutgers, Newark. And I'm like, okay, a story close to home, had to talk about it. So she was accused of sexually assaulting Derek Johnson. He's a nonverbal black man with cerebral palsy who she came into his life by maybe facilitating communication, or what they called FC, which is short for facilitated communication. Basically, you hold the finger over a typewriter sort of thing, or if you've ever worked in day programs or group homes, it's what they call like a peg board, or now we have iPads. A lot of people who are nonverbal, who are disabled, use these sort of methods. There are certain modalities and technological advances now that allows people to speak. We see people with a brain chip in their mind, and it can project on a different screen of what they're thinking. Well, anyway, she was introduced to him around 2009 up until 2011, and she came into their life. Right here is who is smiling at Derek. Here he's standing at a whopping 5'3", apparently around 110 pounds, or 140 pounds maybe. This is his older brother, who was the one who was a PhD student at Rutgers too now, child, okay? And this is single Mama Daisy. Now, she was a part of, the community, and this is Miss Anna Girl. This is Miss Anna Girl. This is Anna today, okay? This is Anna today. Let me see, do I have a picture of her when she was back in her prime, all smiling down on this man? Do I have that? Do I have that? Maybe I don't. It's okay. But um y'all, so Anna came into their life, and she was playing essentially the great white hope, the great savior, the shero. And she started introducing things to him such as literacy. Now again, he was earlier on diagnosed as having severe mental retardation. That is now a saying that is offensive. We no longer use that language, but that is what he had: severe mental retardation along with cerebral palsy. And so she came in and was giving him flashcards and asking him, something as simple as, well, do you know the letter A, and can you point to the letter A? And because he, when you have cerebral palsy, you don't have full access to your hands. They're sort of contorted or restricted in that way. And so she held his elbow down to help him facilitate, and he was able to identify a letter. And so she took a real vested interest of this young man in this black family who was in Essex County, and basically fell in love with him. She basically fell in love with him. I'm in love with the man. Okay, the student. Now, she was also, too, at the time, married to a black man. Surprise, surprise. Okay. She was herself married to a black man. Ooh, wait a second. Can you wait a second? I'm sorry, y'all. So basically, she, introduced him to all of these different ways to communicate. And at that moment, she realized, oh, this is a man who is thoughtful. He's a critical thinker. Long story short, this woman had always been told that her son couldn't, you know, understand and comprehend, and they would have to teach him and, hold him up how to walk. And, the day programs took him, and vocational, therapy and all of these different things. And he was able to get to a point where, it was bearable, but for certainly he wasn't communicating. Well, Miss Anna done put that white she on him, and now suddenly he starts talking, okay, by way of FC, facilitated communication. Now, the documentary follows Anna basically, and she's talking straight. All right, she's talking with the big eyes. Okay, she's looking straight, square at the camera. Yeah, and I loved him, and he told me that he loved me and he wanted to be with me in that way. All right, and so she ends up, girl, getting sentenced. Well, wait, before we even talk about the sentences, bitch, she pulls up to their dining room table and tells Derek, who she renamed the man because that's what he said that, she wanted to talk about, or he wanted to name himself rather, and told this woman, that we are in love and we have had sex, and he is more of a man than you can even imagine, is what she told her right here in the red shirt. And so the brother, who is a PhD student and, is from the world of academia, but also too still a black man, couldn't believe it. He went to the basement. He goes throw it. He cannot believe it. And he's like, whatever the case. And they leave, and she's now pursuing them. We want to be together. He needs to be in an independent living. And I didn't work anything out with my husband just quite yet. But me and him will be together. So the PhD brother decides, I'm going to go to the police on this because he had seen something about FC, which was the typeboard and the keyboard that people would use in order for them to say, oh, well, this person is communicating or not. Long story short, they brought in all these different experts who are talking in the documentary, girl. And he basically says, we came back and we rule. American Psychology Board of Psychology said that, most of these people, the facilitators, are the ones that are communicating, and it's faulty. It's junk science is the term that he used. And girl, that man wasn't saying none of that shit. And that's who they put up on a stand against Miss Anna. Okay, Miss Anna, who left her whole two children and a husband, a black husband. Okay, and ends up going to jail. Now the judge has sentenced her to 12 years consecutively, two 12-year sentences and a lifetime on parole. She gets out in 2 years. So that's just the basics of it. Okay. It's crazy. Y'all have to, if y'all like I love documentaries. It's how I, enjoy some popcorn or tea, whatever. I'm going to watch something. This is so gripping because there are several things at play here, right? One is race. One is race of her. She had been brought up in this world where her mother also, dealt with people who were disabled. And she was a child, and she was, watching them, and technology advance and seeing people come to life. Because here's the thing, a lot of people don't pay attention to people who are disabled, right? We think that these are just people who, can't really do shit, but these are regular people, and believe it or not, they have rights, y'all. They have feelings, they have thoughts, they have emotions. Okay. There's a whole Vice documentary on sex workers specifically um who specifically are utilized by people who are disabled, right? And I'll tell you from my own experience, if a person who is an adult in the day program and they have developmental delays or whatever the case, they're allowed to masturbate, they're allowed to do all of these things because their bodies still function as human adults, even if they are childlike or infantile or lacking speech even. So I understand this from a perspective that, I was around, and I understand that these people, just because you think they're in a wheelchair and he's a man and he's, just playing, whatever, doesn't mean that his body still doesn't function in this way. So although he has cerebral palsy, yes, he was still having urges, and yes, he still had sex with this woman. Okay, she would he took him down, apparently, or she took him down. Long story short, I don't want to give too much of it, but I want to know how you guys feel about this, because on one hand, there were things that happened that there were things that happened within the show that that could not have been made up, because so his name was Derek, and she came in and asked, well, what do you want me to call you? And he told her demand. And the mom had said, yes, well, she had a really good teacher when he was 13 years old, and da 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 da. And he also took college classes, and he was, did a report. There was other facilitators who never had read that book, and he had his own answer. So I think that the state played its part in how they view people who are disabled and mentally delayed. And we just have this concept that people are not there if they can't function in this air quote normal society, right? But this woman here, Miss Daisy, she was a God-fearing, Bible-slanging woman from the South with Southern roots, and she said that lady was evil, trying to seduce her son and molest her son. Okay, because there's no way. And she ended up calling her and everything. And how did y'all make love? And that's my lover and all of this shit, girl. It's a lot. If you want to laugh, that's a good laugh. If you want to think critically, it's a way to think critically. This was something, y'all. If you watch this, drop down in the comments. If you're going to watch it, please let me know. This was something, because she thought that she ate down being this white woman who was going to give this, urban black family an opportunity to communicate with their sons, all to find out that he needs to be in an independent living, and she's sitting on his. And the mom said, well, how did it work out? How did you? And she just said, well, I got a yoga mat and a towel, and I put him on the ground, right? I said, oh my God. Oh my God. And she gave it up. She said she did not think that she would be convicted. And so there's this other thing, this other element of whiteness, and how white women feel entitled to black bodies, especially when they're associated with a big pink. Can we talk about it? This entitlement of, well, surely the family's going to understand, and surely, he's giving me his consent. This shit is so, and I don't want to say perverted, because what if they really did fall in love, y'all? There are some things that made me question, perhaps. And the mom is all pissed off, and now I gotta give him medicine because all his life all he do is masturbate and all. But here's the thing: it's like once you scratch that itch, it is what it is. But here's the thing, Mama. What type of medicine are you giving him? Because it sounds like medical castration. That's not right. He has a right to live his life fully just because he's disabled. I believe that. Everybody, if he here, he has rights. But it's how we view, especially in the state of New Jersey, how we view and feel about people who are disabled. This whole ableist thing. Y'all, check this shit out. It's a lot. It's a lot. I don't want to go all too deep, because I feel it coming on. But I want to know what you all think. Drop down in the comments. Let me know if you'll be checking this out. If you have already, bitch, let me know. Because I'm a little torn in between the two. I'm curious to know what y'all think. Drop down in the comments. As always, I'm sending you much love and much light, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.